Now, if you see this is Ken River. It was first evolved in 19th century. Parts of Assam, there are floods happening. It mentioned around 30 rivers will be interconnected. Problem here is the delivery of this compensation. You see some areas which is bordering Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Hi guys, welcome to Believers IAS Academy. So today, you might be aware that in parts of Assam there are floods happening. Yes, in parts of Assam there are floods happening. However, if you see the other part, like say Bundelkhand region where it is between UP and Madhya Pradesh, the border area between UP and Madhya Pradesh, it is suffering from drought. If you see some areas which is bordering Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh also, there also you will see some of the droughts. So now here the issue is, some area is getting what? Floods. Some area is getting floods and some area is getting drought. Now what can be the solutions for this? So one of the main important solutions which the government has developed is interlinking. What we are linking? Interlinking of rivers. So whatever the surplus water is there in these areas can be transferred to these areas, so that flooding will be avoided and these area will also get water. Okay. So now this is what we call as interlinking of river. Okay. So we'll understand this topic in depth, and we'll also understand in this particular video what is the issue with Ken-Betwa. Okay. Think Ken-Betwa, what is Ken-Betwa and what are the issues with it. Okay. So let's start the video. Okay. So now, before jumping into this Ken-Betwa issues, we'll first understand what is interlinking of rivers and how it was basically evolved. Okay. So first we'll start with river interlinking system. Okay. It is a transfer of what? Surplus river basin to water deficit river basins. Okay. Through what? Through network of dam, reservoirs, canals and tunnels. Through this, we are basically transferring water from one area to another area. So what is, okay. So now, if you see what is the evolution, how did this idea basically evolve? It was first evolved in 19th century by the geographer called as Sir Arthur Cottons. Okay, he proposed inter-basin transfer. Okay, now after this, what happened? Even in India also in 1972, K.L. Rao National Water Grid concept. Now here he spoke about interlinking what? Ganga and Kaveri river. Okay, Ganga and Kaveri river, interlinking of these river. This was first proposed by whom? K.L. Rao through National Water Grid concept. Now here after in 1977 again the concept of by Captain Duster Grandland canal system. Here he spoke about linking Himalayan river with Peninsular river. So okay, so this is basically evolution. Now after this, India had made perspective plannings, because now in 1980s it made national perspective planning where it mentioned around 30 rivers will be interconnected between one another. Okay. Now, and as a result, we had established National Water Development Authority. It was established and it had done feasibility studies. Okay. After this feasibility studies, there was some oppositions also because of environmental reasons. So now this Supreme Court also directed the implementation of this particular interlinking of what? Rivers. Okay, between rivers. Now as a result, in 2021, Ken-Betwa received the first approval. Now around 30, as I told you, there are 30 interlinking projects. So out of this, the first one which received was Ken-Betwa. Okay. Ken-Betwa rivers. So we'll understand this. So before understanding this, let's understand what is this. Some more, in detail understand this. What is national perspective planning as well. Okay. So in national perspective planning, as you can see, there are two components. One is of Himalayan rivers and another one is of peninsular rivers. Now in Himalayan rivers, linking of 14 rivers and 16 rivers of South Indian rivers. Okay. So in total, there are 30 proposed links. The objective is, one is providing irrigation facility, flood control, drinking water, electricity generation and regional development. So where the water goes to there is drought, those regions will also get prosperity, they will also get developed. Okay, so this is the main idea behind bringing this particular project. Okay, so in moving further, we'll understand what are the advantages of this. The first and the most important advantage is water security. Water security for warm deficit regions. Okay, second one is expansion of irrigated area. Once the water gets into those areas, the various canals, various kinds of irrigations can be taken up, and even some of the agriculture activities can also be taken. Like we can also bring those crops which are resistance to climate also. So these kinds of things can be done, and flood moderation into surplus basin, drinking water, hydropower, electricity, and it will also generate rural employment and reduce migration. Okay, since people drought area people, especially if you see the UP regions, UP, Bihar, these kinds of regions where laborers used to migrate for North India and even for South India. So this can also be avoided. So however, there are several disadvantages for this. One and the most important thing is degradation of forest being submerged and biodiversity loss. Second one is displacement of tribal areas. Tribal areas, as we know, Ken-Betwa, here in Ken-Betwa there are numerous tribes also present. Their lives can be affected because of interlinking of these rivers and high financial cost. It is costing almost 44,000. Okay, so interstate water dispute, ecological disruptions, and climate change uncertainty in hydrology. So these are some of the disadvantages of interlinking of any river. Now, till now, what we have understood, what is this interlinking of rivers? This is first thing. What is interlinking of river, and what is the evolution of interlinking river? Okay, and here we understood what are the advantages and disadvantages of interlinking river. So now, further we'll understand what are the what actually Ken-Betwa is, okay, this project, and why people are basically opposing. What is the issue? We'll understand this. Okay. Now in Ken-Betwa, what happened is, as I told you, the first major river linking project, okay, which is taken up by the government. Here we are taking water from Ken, okay, from MP, and we are linking it to Betwa river, which is in UP, targeting the drought prone area of Bundelkhand region. If you see this area, now if you see this is Ken river, okay, Ken river, and this is Betwa river. Now this red line is what we call as interlinking of, Ken-Betwa interlinking canal. This is the canal which is what is the excess water is there in Ken. It is also basically moving towards Betwa, and it is of 221 kilometers. Okay, so this is what project is. Okay, this project is what interlinking, which means whatever the excess water is there in this Ken river will be taken to this Betwa. Okay, this is around Bundelkhand regions. So in order to make sure there is sufficient water in this particular drought prone area. Okay, and even we are constructing also this Dundal dam is also there. Okay, that is also there. Now the project cost we have already discussed, and it involves two states. That is also we have seen Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. From Madhya Pradesh, Ken river is going, and from Uttar Pradesh, which river is going? Betwa river is going. So okay, in this out of 30 projects, this is the first project which government has taken up. Okay, now in this what is happening? What it actually gives, which means delivers, is this project is happening in two phases. Okay, first remember, this project is happening in two phases. The first phase is in infrastructure. Here Dundal Dam primary diversion structure on Ken. Okay, and this we are told, and tunnel and powerhouses of hydropower will be established here. Okay, here one is this dam which we had discussed in last slide has been used to divert the Ken water, okay, and this is of 221 kilometers, and tunnel and powerhouse hydropower will be done. Now here is what is in second phase, lower Ore dams and Bina complex and Kota barrage will also be established here, and what is expected, 10.62 lakh hectares will be irrigated, 2 lakhs people, 62 lakhs people will receive drinking water, and electricity of 103 megawatt hydropower and 27 megawatt of solar power will also be established. This is what it delivers. Okay, this is the benefit what we are getting after interlinking of this particular river. Okay, now what is issue basically now, this project has been already approved by people also, the nearby people have already approved. However, the problem here is the delivery of this compensation has not been given to the people. Okay, it has been very much delayed, so that's why people are basically opposing this particular project. Okay, so now if you see this is this is the classic example of development and environment and community. Okay, this is the classic example of this. Environment concern is it is destroying, almost submerging 10,000 hectares of Pana Tiger Reserve. Okay, this is one of the questions they can basically ask in your examinations. What is the which basically tiger